Good morning, everybody. Hello and welcome to this morning update slash live trading slash warm welcome to you traders. Plan on BTC, trade recaps, and yes, good morning. Let me know in the chats if the sound is all okay. For those of you who don't know me, if there's anyone here new here, my name is Igor and I am a coach at Chat Champion. So good morning and welcome. Okay, let's quickly just make sure that the sound is okay. And yeah, and then I can proceed. Let me just make sure. Yeah, it should be a-okay. Nice. Good morning there. Better make sure. Okay, sound is good. That's very good. Thank you there, Tristan. Okay, we can go and scroll back a little bit and I'll talk you through what we're going to be doing here today. So Domster is in the house, Stelius, Groundhog, good morning, Financial Literacy, Hakan, Simon, H1PS, hello my friend, The Great Journey, Meeting Puri, Tony, Chris, that's a really hard name to pronounce. Zero, Paul, Pseudo, Astelios, Banks, Stratos, Jordi, Jewel, C, Cheng, Yong, Kang, TD, Tristan, Thomas, Daniel maybe in the house. Hello, my friend. VDC Crafts, Peter, Ace, ADCC, Davius, Stefan, SSP, SR Flip, nice name. That's a good name. Martin, Hunter, Ryan. Hello, everybody. So, yes, oh, wow, look at that. We are still pushing. You know what? I kind of regret closing this trade. But I'll talk you through very quickly before we proceed. I'll talk you through this NQ. Peter, hello. Yes, you mentioned Moshin, Raku, right? Okay, yeah, everybody here. Good morning. Yeah, look at this. So this is NQ. I might have to just go back to a 15 potentially. Yeah, there you go. So and I'm gonna just anchor this view up again at the beginning of the month. So give me a second. Let me just do that. So beginning of July, there you go. And we're going to go apply that. So, you know, what we had here this morning was I was going over my plan and we had this very sharp drop into the highest value node of the range below. Obviously, we always look for previous untested levels, which are nice, you know, the value, so 70% of the trading value here. And this is just the RTH session. You can see here for the darker colors here, this is NQ. And we come down this morning and we just do a quick and sharp move down through the previous untested value, okay, which already in itself it's a good level to kind of see, okay, where's today's value? Obviously clearly much higher, so you know it's a nice level to look at it and say, okay, well, if we don't stick on there, then we're going to go back inside, and then we go all the way down to those 35s, and 35 in my books, especially when you're looking at something like you know, the liquidity. And I'm going to try and zoom in up here and see if I can all show you that there. So give me a second just to be sure that you can see what I'm showing you there. And hopefully you can see that on here. Give me a sec. Let me just try and share. So DSF. Yeah, let me know if you can see that. But you've got the untested value just below, and then when you drop, you go straight through those 35. So 30. So between 35s and 30s, that's where that pocket of liquidity was. And you can see that below there was no much. So that, to me, it kind of signifies, okay, this is the exhaustion of that sort of drop. And, you know, should we go back inside, you know, we can obviously rip back inside the range. You know, you never know exactly for sure how far it's going to, you know, push through. But that was the highest pocket around those 30. Well, it was between 35 when you zoom in here, it was between the 35s and the 30s. So that tends to be like that kind of a magnet where price comes down, just like now. And to be honest, I was looking at this 300, so the 23 as like target. But you know, I chickened out below the low, and I was ticked out, and I can show you that in a second. But it was nice to see You know, that really nice confluence there on NQ. And you can see that sometimes all it takes is just one trade. But yeah, what we had done here was the monthly VWAP. So this is just the monthly VWAP, as well as the HVN. So it's a high value node. You can see here from this, you know, it's the highest one down there on this section, just below value. So again, like a magnet. And then when we go a little bit more locally, you can see that that's where we bounced from all the way. And we actually came to the overnight midpoint here. Around those 87s. So we hit it, but what I was doing here, and I'm going to go down to 1 minute so I can show you. So what I was doing here was I was actually trailing my stop. So I've got 2 yellow lines here, and I was actually trailing my stop based on 2 higher lows back. So this one at the time was the second, because the first was here. So this one, I never really include this one because I know it's too close to price, especially when we go sideways. So I used this one here, and then I got stopped just below the low there. So that was my trade of today, and now I can delete this. And what else I had done this morning here was just put the anchor view up from the lows. And I was looking it down. I was thinking, okay, well, we've looked above. It is a good kind of like nice rise, but I was thinking at the time here, well, if we break that low, we potentially could go down to this section. So I might as well just take my 600 you know, dollars and just leave it as that. So that was the trade recap. But again, just to show that those nice untested value levels in confluence with, you know, higher time frame like Fibonacci's and you know, anchored VWAPs, or, you know, monthly VWAPs, weekly VWAPs, do really add that extra confluence, as well as, you know, using the you know, the real liquidity on the books there. Okay, so that was that trade recap. I'm going to continue saying hello to everybody there. Make sure that you guys are okay. Let me know if you caught that trade. I saw some people in the chat earlier in the Discord channels, the futures channel, that caught the trade. So that was nice to see. But I was preparing for the stream, so I was quite busy. But yeah, nice to see them traders always killing it. There you go. So Stefan is in the house as well. Okay. Emmanuel, Issy, the great journey there. Still long from, oh, nice. Nice. That's on BTC. Yeah, perfect. That's good. We're going to go over BTC. We're going to do a morning plan. I'll go through that in a second. Entered at 22,934. It was also a level from Severin. Nice. Of course. Severin is a legend. If you're not following Severin, you are sleeping under a rock. He's like an absolute legend. He's got an eye for detail, and yeah, he's been killing it, and why not? I mean, you know, this is it. Hard work pays off, and he works really hard. So yeah, kudos. And again, coach at Chat Champion. So if you don't know who Severin is, go and follow him on our socials, and yeah, join us, and you'll find out. I mean, I think it's probably, you know, the Altcoins legend is killing it. The BTC Fractal killing it. Yeah, I mean, absolute legend. So yeah, very proud and very happy to have him part of the team now. So yeah, super team as well. As Daniel as well, obviously. But there you go, perfect. So what we're going to go and do now is I'm going to let this, obviously I've only just taken this trade, so I'm going to let this cool off a little bit here on NQ as we obviously consolidate here. I'm going to actually go up to a 15-minute chart. I'm going to delete that anchored VWAP there. Yes, let's delete that, and the low one from below. I want to see it close back above here within the next 15 minutes. I want to see it close, you know, back inside that previous day low. You can see that's where we were actually. Let me show you again. It's kind of like sometimes these markets can be a little bit perfect, and you know, you're seeing that here. So this is previous day low by that little. I don't know if you can quite see it, but that's actually, you can see it because this is 4K, so you should be able to see it. But yeah, that's previous day low, and the market goes straight into it for a rejection. Look at the closes. So if you put a line here, like an area, look at that, boom, boom. So 2 closes right at that low. It's really like this market, NQES, you know, like especially when you come from crypto, where sometimes you get those nice big long wicks, which is good, you know, like that's where you want to kind of like fill those nice juicy positions. But coming from crypto and seeing these respects like to the tick at the level with the closes, to me it's just like, look at that 1, 2. It's just really like, yeah, this market is really perfect sometimes. But you need to know what you're looking for, and here obviously you can see that's that previous day low. Yeah, kind of cool. Anyway, so let's just that's to there for a little bit while we go over the BTC plan very quickly. So that's what I'm going to do now. This is something I do every morning for the champion members and contenders. So we're going to go through that and hopefully you guys can learn something. And if you have any questions, I'll put the chat over on that screen as well. So if you have any questions, honestly, pop them in the chat and I will sure cover it. For example, Davio, yes, that is Quantower. So this is Quantower. And that's what I use primarily now. It's just a beast of a platform. It's got everything one could need, really. So yeah, let's go over BTC. So this is TradingView. I'm going to start as always on the IA time frame. Hang on a second. You know, my cable nearly got stuck there. So yeah, we'll go through this, and then at the end we'll as in a few minutes, we'll have some nice levels. So we do have actually let me start with the real higher time frame here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to, and yeah, any problems, if you can't quite see anything or whatever, just ask me the question. I'll keep an eye on the chat. And yeah, smash the likes. We've got 400 people in here, so yeah, smash the likes. Anyway, so BTC, do I share? Do I not? Do I share? Yeah, why not? So this is what we're working with on BTC. So this is the CME chart. Okay, split into the RTH using 24 hours. And where we rejected from just now, it's a very, very high technical level. Okay, it is not a Fibonacci. I've got the fib here, but it is not a Fibonacci. It is just a simple split range tool. Okay, and the way I've done this, and we can do it a slightly different, but I've done it with the proper figures. So whatever we had, that's it. So in other words, we've now come in to a very significant resistance, and we still have a bit more room left, or a little bit more juice to go, which I feel like it's still very highly probable to get to it. And you can see there, that's those highs 38Ks, so 138Ks. That's where I see this obviously going into, but currently we can't ignore this 75%. Okay, so this is a very key resistance. Okay, and we should expect this little pullback. We've seen the initial pullback down to 16,750, which I'm going to zoom in and show you. So we have pulled back to this first initial resistance, which has a gap as well. I prefer not to see the gap, and yesterday I was looking at all of this price action during RTH because I'm aware that we've left this section, so this kind of like, call it an abandoned baby up here, bearish one. So it is very, very crucial to be aware of this pattern at this level. So this level here, 121, is kind of like the resistance currently on this chart, and it's very, very technical, and I can share a little bit more on that. And it's just simply the one deviation from where BTC started its leg, its really run. Okay, so just going to cover this very quickly. It's super important. So if you're a new if you're new here, or if you've never seen this, welcome. So let's go with 0 being the inception, or a BTC being listed. Okay, obviously on the CME was around 20K, as if you all remember, the inception of BTC. And then there's two confluences here, which obviously you can see already, which really hit home and go, okay, well, this here is like the symmetry of this market. So we go from 0, okay, to the 69 high. So this is the leg, the initial leg. And then obviously we bounce from the 75%. So as BTC retraced from the all-time high at 69K, we bounce exactly from the initial, okay, inception of the CME. 0 is obviously, the initial trade price. So you got the symmetry here. So that's 1. And then we have the 75. That's 2. Oops, I'm just going to have to go back to BTC again because I clicked on my space bar there. So let's just go back to it. There you go. So now what we're looking for is we're looking for two things to kind of like confirm that this is like call it a fractal, that it's happening, which is rejection or, a pause at the all-time high. I like to call it a pit stop, which we did for a long time. and then we came back for a respectful, I mean, you can just plot the 200 and see exactly where we bounced from, but that's where we bounced from. So, here's the first level of of where like we got that resistance, confirming that this fractal is now in motion. And then because we bounced from the 7.5, we have to look for the 7.5. And that's where we just got now. So this is now the 100% move complete. So check. So now there is a little bit more on the pipeline to go up to, the one standard deviation, which sits at 138K. So that, my friends, is where, we are pausing right now, and where BTC is likely to go. So what we can do now on a lower time frame, because obviously, I'm sure like a lot of people have missed the move, others are trying to FOMO in, but what we can do now is just use what we have here from 121 to 104, split that range, and you can see that we are still hovering. I'm just going to put on the overnight trading, and we are basically holding that 16,770. And I was looking at this yesterday all day, and if you watch, or if you're here, if you're a champion, if you watch our stream, which was yesterday, the live trading stream, which had like a nice few trades on the futures, what I was asking, or what I was saying is, I would like to see a move above and then a move below, and then I want to see this go off to the races. And because of where we are, the confluence, knowing and being aware of the gap, this doesn't have to be filled. It can, but we do have one much lower. So, keep this gap open, come down, but keep this now as the low of BTC currently. And what we want to see is the reclaim of that previous day, not this one, but this previous day up here, which pretty much is that a bearish abandoned baby. So when we put this back to regulate, you can see that this is the gap now that we need to flip. So BTC yesterday closed down here. We're trading already up here. So we want to get back inside this range and stay above it, so that we can start pushing higher towards the high, and then obviously seek at least 125, which is where the gamma options are sitting currently. So so that's just a quick overrun on BTC, as where we came from, and obviously you had different things to obviously be engaged with this chart. So for example, like just use the simple. And I'm going to do that here because the champions know this, our members, they know what we've been looking at. And you can just use something like, let me just go and delete this. So let's say from those lows, you can see, remember, the 69, the pullback, obviously to a very, very, very logical key area. And again, the break again, the retracement again and again and again and again to a very logical key area. This is the 200 simple moving average. And so we're looking for this to continue making those higher highs and higher lows. And there's still no sign of weakness on this chart. So that is my higher time frame kind of like concluded now. And I'm going to do what I do every day. So 24 hours RTH, and let's go. So let's now just mark this very quickly, because this is part of the plan. And I'm keeping an eye there on NQ, and we're still trying to break that 23K. So we're not missing anything. We're already taking a trade. So let's just go with this very quickly. So simple moving average. This is like a mundane job that I do every day, but it's very, very important because it shows you as a trader, and if you have any questions, pop them. It shows you as a trader that this market, like, I know moving averages are lagging, but a lot of people use them like differently. I use them this way, so 106, and that's 655. Let's just round it up. But I use them this way because it helps me stay with that nice trend. And you can see here that every single one of these, we are moving what? We are moving higher. So a lot of people start looking for shorts and things, and then they just obviously get wrecked because, the order flow, the higher time frame buyers, everything thus far is bullish. And there you go. So this 200 SMA on the daily is the slowest one, right? Being 200 days out. And if from yesterday to today, we've gone from 210 to 480. So, the range is becoming a little bit slower down here, as you can see, like throughout the days, but it's still moving higher. So 92, 480. So it just kind of gives you that nice higher time frame, bullish bias. For example, let's say you are in a position from, even like the 75s or, the 50s or 27s, whatever you are from, that if BTC, or when BTC comes back down to, let's say, 95Ks, let's say we did get a drop here and came down to 95Ks, well, you're going to have immense support here. So the whole street will be panicking, and then you're going to have investors like, very nice, let's go back in. So yeah, just a nice way to not forget about these higher time frame charts and just keep plotting these lines, okay? Meaning the simple moving average, and then just hide them. And when price is coming down to it intraday, you're on a 30-minute chart. You says, oh, okay, well, here we are back at a 20 simple day moving average. That's going to give you that nice average. Okay, so that's that. So that's our simples, and we can see that the next support is all the way down at 110 pretty much. So that's quite far, not very helpful for now. So I'm just going to mark the gaps now. And we do have this one that we're going to mark now. So this is going to be the gap low, which is above, and then the gap fill will be obviously there. So we do have between 118. This is what we need to kind of like flip now. Yeah, flip this, and nothing in here will give you like a take profit. It's literally just look for the highs. That's kind of like the bias there. So let's just go through that. So there's the one gap. We are currently looking below here, and there's nothing else. This one down here was filled, and this one down here doesn't have to be filled for now. And it's funny because it sits around those moving averages. So let's just hide that. We don't need that. The balance is quite far away, so we don't need anything else from this chart. So let's park it to the side because everything is being synced. And then let's go to the higher time frame to see where the nice point of controls are. And we do have, so we know 120. Here's the gap being filled, so we kind of start still below it, okay, working with it. And we do have that previous week high there at the gap filled, so that's a very key place. Apart from that, we don't have anything else, so let's start with the plan. There, you can see here, so this is the current 30-minute chart. I'm going to put the bars, so you can see that we are starting to work inside that gap, okay, in here. So this is the resistance for now that we need to break and reclaim to then see those fireworks, because anyone that has been shorting on here, especially during RTH, will get trapped and will be forced to buy back their shorts. So I'm just going to make this bigger. We're going to go through this very quickly, and then I'm open to questions. So the daily, we actually trading one time framing down. We've broken that one time framing up right here. Okay, so we were up until then, and yesterday we broke it to the downside. So this is currently one time framing down. So let's just change this. Let me know so far if everything is a-okay. Yeah, this is super important. A lot of people will probably just ignore, having a plan on BTC or any market for that matter. And then when stuff is happening really fast in the markets, which is, nice, they're just all on Discord groups and et cetera, just going like, yeah, what did just happen? What's going on? But if you have a plan, you know exactly what's going on. So this is how you need to do it. Well, it doesn't have to be like this, but you need to have a plan at least. So weekly, we are one time framing up, and monthly, we are one time framing up. We just went through that, and we can just quickly review it. But you can see this is the weekly 1, 2, 3, 4 one time framing up. Monthly, still one time framing up. And on the weekly, we have just broken out of a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we have 7 weeks of sideways range, okay? And we just broke out. So now you tell me, for anyone that is shorting this market, you have just broken out of a 7-week where you've been going sideways, like ranging, compressing, accumulating, some people getting getting out of their long-term longs, and then there's just no more sellers, the buyers have got all their positions, and then you break out. If you don't quickly, okay, and I mean quickly, come back inside that range, then it's very bullish, because you're going to break out of this balance of 7 weeks. You expect that follow through, just like we had back at 50K, all the way down there. When you break out of this, 50K range between 50 and 60, you expect that follow through, and then we get that follow through, and then another range. So we're expecting now to just form a range higher, especially around that 138, even beyond. That would be even better. The high 38 is a nice target, but if you get higher, even better. But yeah, we just got the break. So just to show that we are one time framing higher on all time frames here. Okay. So yeah, let's go back to our chart and here. So one time framing up, up, up there. We do have a B shape actually. So that point of control there, even though we're quite far away, this is going to be really good support because it's, you know, that's where the point of control is. So let's mark this as a B shape, and I'm trying to make this as big as I possibly can so that you can all see it with price as well. So I'm going to actually put this on the right. There you go. I'm going to put it here. So the shape of the profile, you can see we have a B shape. So it's, we spent a lot of time at the lows, but sometimes, okay, what we have to do with these B shapes is, you know, where is the initial or the higher time frame? We are bullish, so this can be like seen as the bullish part, even though if it's bearish, okay, because, you know, value is lower, we can say to ourselves, yeah, but, you know, all of them shorts are now getting squeezed out. So, you know, going all the way back there is actually quite bearish. So, you know, it's kind of like the last support. So this here will be our last downside support for today. So I can already go, you know, 117 exactly. Well, let's put, you know, 0.55. That's going to be my last support down here. Because like closing below here, and I know the odds to fill the gap increase dramatically. Okay, like exponentially. So, you know, we don't really want to see price there. We want to see a hold VWAP, which is our second level and point of control. So yeah, even though it's a B shape, that's my remarks around there. So yeah, so let's mark this as a B shape anyway, lower B, that is. So a little bit more bearish, but value is also lower. Okay, so we're going to watch for them to be trapped there. So value is down here, as you can see. Excess, we do have, yeah, everything seems to be finished, and the only thing we can mark here on excess is that the all-time high currently is made during the overnight trading, and that's never a good kind of like, put it this way, every all-time high that has been made during the overnight trading has always been taken by RTH. So that's the remark we can say here on the excess. So the all-time high, so all-time high in overnights. So made overnight trading. So overnight is this gray profile I've got here. So sentiment, I'm going to call it neutral because we are still higher time frame bullish. Okay, and I can see that we are now moving above that 23. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit on NQ, and if we get a little pullback, I potentially go with a long. I'm a bit annoyed that I did move my stop too quick on that trade there. Yeah, that's annoying. You can see what I got out. Yeah, that's really annoying. Just got the run, but then we had the big 23. So you can see this. We had the big 23. So it's a logical place. Previous day low. So, you know, I actually did this when I was here. I went, okay, well, there's about you know, $200 back to targets. So, you know, it's best to box in because, you know, you treat this as a new trade. So if you're going to take a trade here, you're only looking for $200 potentially, and to lose 200. So I thought, well, my trade is finished here. So if we reclaim it, which we are doing now, then on a pullback down to that 23/previous day low, we can then get back inside this trade. So go buy higher, but buy with a confirmation. Okay, so that's what I'm going to be monitoring here now. So let's see if we can come back down to that 23, which will be VWAP as well. So I'll just keep an eye. Let's go back and continue with BTC very quickly because BTC is just working inside that gap now. And I'll put the thing back up. So there you go. So neutral. So we've opened inside. Did we open? Yeah, we opened inside yesterday's value. You can see here. So this is just really trying to zoom in. So here's the open for yesterday. I could push this down. We'll do it properly. So the session open is right there. So we open within yesterday's value. Yesterday's value area low was at 16,400 and value area high was down here. So this is going to be our support and the RTH high, which is the gap low. So all of these are the confluence for today. So settlement or the point of control is the last level that we've just marked. And then the settlement, which I'm going to check on my other screen. 116,740. So 116,740. So this is a very, very good level. And you can see that it's very, very low. So, you know, the overnight now, we are obviously long. You know, the overnight is very long in relation to yesterday's trading. Okay, so we're trading way above it. So what we can do during the next RTH open, which will be in a few hours time, we can look for that nice retracement. I would like to see this gap potentially filled like during the overnight now, or at least half of it. And then that little sort of like pull back down to the VWAP, which will at the time potentially be around that 118,500. So that would be a nice place for our first target. If, however, we continue, as in like BTC continues to go back inside a range, then the first level will be the range high. So that RTH high there. Okay, so obviously I don't know where we're going to be in 3 hours. If we're going to be trading up here, then this is a level. But if we just go and then trade below, then the first level will be that VWAP, and they're at 118. Okay, I hope that makes sense. So let's mark that first level, 118,400. I'm going to put 500, the alert. So that's going to be my alert. And then these are places where you are hunting to see if the market holds. Okay, and if it holds, then you go with the long trade and you target, you know, the other side of the gap and higher. Okay, so we've opened inside that inside value, just there. Inventory is long, so look for that rebalance, which we've just gone through there. We do had a gap, and that gap has been partially filled. So gap was bullish. We had a bull gap. Oops. So bull gap, and it was partially filled. So if I just show you without any market profiles here, so let's just delete, and I'm even going to delete everything else so that you just see there and previous days. So we opened last night. Where's the balance as well? Gap low, gap there. So we open there. Okay, so that's the open, and the settlement was below. So that is a gap there. So we partially filled it, which is nice on the bullish market. You don't need to fill the whole gap. And then obviously you want to go and take high. So this market has gone from yesterday downtrending, trapping more traders, to then trapping them on the other side. I mean, you can go back to yesterday's stream and you can watch this. It's on the platform, and you can see that's exactly what we wanted to happen. Look above, look below, and then go. So now we've had that partial fill gap. So coming down here to that last level, it's not the best. It's okay still, and we need to watch for a quick move down potentially and then back and go. But I wouldn't like it. So this becomes like very cautiously. So instead of going with full position inside, you don't. You just go maybe test the waters and see if it holds. But for now, you want to see the local highs here hold, which we already mark 18,500, which will be in confluence with the VWAP. So that's going to be the nice level there, and potentially whatever high we make here, then the 50%. So we can already sort of anticipate the midpoint of the gap, and that's going to be again at 118. So second level is pretty much 118. So I'm going to mark that one as well. And I hope that makes sense. So in other words, we're getting these levels very close together. And I'm going to go 1820 because that's the pivot. So, and then I'm just going to mark, 1820. And these levels on the CME do respect to these kind of references. So first, second, last. Okay, so I hope that makes sense, and keep that gap cleaned. And we're nearly there. We're nearly there with the plan. Let me just delete these lines. Okay. Yeah, any questions, pop them in now, and I will go through. Just moving stuff here. And yeah, and if you're enjoying the stream, smash the like, helps the channel. Okay, so inside long, bull, partially filled. Momentum is actually quite nice. Tempo is not slow at all. So yeah, let's look at these levels for the upside. So I'm going to have to mark the all-time high as my last level, because if we claim that gap there on RTH, I feel we're going to go back and push through that 123. So I'm going to mark my last level there, that 123. So 123,615. So that will be like a nice target to push this through to the highs. So 115. The second level is going to have to be the 50% of this whole range, which we're coming into, but also is that gap, right? So that gap fill. So that gap fill there should be the first one, which is now. And here's the thing. Even though I've not been taking any shorts on this market, because why should I? You know, we're still very, very bullish. I'm aware that going up to this 119,500, we could potentially get then the pullback down to the previous day high, but you can see the range is too small. So I'm going to mark that as resistance, number one, but I wouldn't take the short there, to be honest. I'd prefer it to just, you know, have a pullback back down to range highs, potentially for the long that we're going to try and scoop at 18,500. So the best level here is really that 18,500. And should we hold there, we want to see if we can traverse all the way back to the range highs. So we kind of like coming together here with a plan. Okay, I can see NQ trying to hold here the previous day high and VWAP. So we're gonna pay attention here for a little bit. Let's see if we can at least get another 1 minute close above it. Just zooming in to see. We're looking here, as this is a live trading stream as well, and then we'll just go back to BTC. Let me know in the chat if you are also trying to go with the long here. I want to see this trade at least down to the it's holding VWAP though, you know, that is the VWAP, but I'd prefer to see if it at least goes through and then back above it. So I'm going to give it a little bit more time. Let's continue with this. Okay, so that's going to be the second one there. And then, yeah, I'll take a look at the questions right in a minute. And don't forget, we do have, today we have the PPI. So that's going to be a little bit later. Okay, so let's go mark that first level. So the first level will be 119. I prefer the gap field, 119 exactly. 485. And then the second level, I'm going to have to think outside the box. And I'm going to go here. Close 120.60. So that's going to be 120 just above it. Let's get rid of this. And then if we claim that 120.60, I will say that BTC is ready to, you know, push through to there, which is our last level. Okay, and that 120 is the close of the abandoned baby there. So this is classed as an abandoned baby because you open up here, you make a high into that 50% level, 75% level, as you all know, and I can show you that by just doing this. There you go. So you close, you open and just look above it and then close back below. So that's bearish. So if price comes up to resistance number 1, this is resistance number 2, accept in here, look for the high, reject here, look for that level. Okay, so it's a simple, honestly, it's really, really simple. I'm not going to mark 114 because I would prefer to see this hold, but you can see that. Let's say later during RTH, you open, look above, and come all the way back down here. It's going to look somewhat little bit ugly, right? Which you'll expect at least to have 1, 2, and 3 candles pull back on such big higher time frame level being hit. Therefore, it's what I'm saying, like come down to, you know, the lowest level, nah, not so good. You want to see a little bit lower. So it's still okay to attempt a long, but that long might be short-lived. So don't go full size. You might as well go full size up here after the reclaim, then down here. That's what I would prefer to do anyway. I hope that makes sense there. But then again, ask a question if you if it's unclear. And that's pretty much it. We do have PPI later. So, oops, what did I do again? Gold, not gold, BTC. So yeah, we do have PPI later. So, you know, make sure you add that to your calendars there. This one here. I want to delete this. Okay, so those are the levels. I'm going to just push this back in and I'm going to put VWAP. So that's what I'm looking for. So in other words, this is going to look something like if price manage, depending on where we open today, let's say we open around, you know, that gap filled, I'm looking for a counter trade. So a rebalance back down to here. And then here I'll be kind of like hunting a long trade. If we open too high up, let's say we open here, RTH, if this continues to push, then I'm going to be looking just for the first level, which is the gap low. I don't have to mark that now, but it's around that 119, the gap low there, which is the previous day RTH high. So that's it. So open like slightly below, that's what I'm looking for. And if we do come all the way down, let's say we smash through that 118 and don't pause there, which is fine, like VWAP, you know, just keep trailing down. Like let's say you are just hunting the long, just keep looking, and look for that swing low. If you don't get it, then potentially we could get it on here. But as I said, it's going to be a little bit less likely that we push through. So I would prefer to see it higher and then look for that full rotation. Knowing that 120 is that next resistance. So pull back into it and then go. Have a little resistance here, a little bit of a speed bump here, you know, flip that, and I would be looking straight for the high. So that's the plan on BTC. That's what I'm going to be doing. And yeah, not financial advice, obviously. Oops, let's select all of this. And yeah, NQ is trying to hold, but this price action here doesn't look the best. I would prefer still to see it come all the way down to at least, yeah, back to the low there, 95s. 90s even would be better. So don't go too early. Let's have a look. 90s, yeah, 91. Yeah, come on, let's see if we can get to 91. And then we have like, you know, a little sort of like bull flag going on here where we can go, you know, oops, let me just mark it, where we can go from here and then we can look for the full session open above it. Let's see if we can get it like down to those 90s, 91s. Obviously, we don't want to see it starting to lose the overnight midpoint. That's where we rejected earlier. So 1, 2, 3. It can hold here, but I'd prefer it a little bit lower. Okay, back to Trading View. And now I'm going to take a look at some questions. And then we can focus on some live trades. Okay. Yeah, smash the likes if you thought that was helpful at all. So that's what we do every day. So now going into the market, you have some alerts. We have a full plan. We know that the market higher time frame is still bullish. We know we've had a really nice pullback. We know that this level here is a very high time frame level that one should not ignore, which is the all-time high symmetry of the 75% where we bounce from the 25%. Very simply, you know, it should be straightforward to understand. We can then split that range using the same range inside, high to low, and we're bouncing from the top layer of that 0.25. So this is 25% of the drop from that level. So from here to here is exactly that 25%. This is another 25%. This is the 50%, obviously 25 plus 25, 50. And then this here would be the absolute sort of like max level where we want to be entertaining the shorts. It can come all the way down, but you know, you want to stay above the balance, you know, the 7-week balance high, at least the point of control here. And actually we can do that very quickly to see where that's coming in at. Hopefully it's around the same, actually it's value area high. So we want to see that 108 old, because coming back in there and you don't snap back inside, it's kind of like bearish, because you look for a failure above and you look below again. So we could be seeing that 94, that we know it's a really good level, but we're not going to talk about that yet because we're not nowhere near it. So this level here becomes the logical support for now. Oops, I don't want to move that, and I should lock it. There you So yeah, so this level here becomes very logical to bounce from. We need to hold. So the higher it goes this morning, the better, because then on the way down at RTH open, we want to go with a high, which is the gap low here, okay, that we have now. Okay, is that clear? And would you look at that? Beautiful, beautiful, coming down to those 90s. Okay, I hope that makes sense. Okay, so let's keep that there. Come on, let's see if we can get those 90s. Actually, I'll leave it here. Okay. Okay, what's your thoughts on ETH? ETH has been sleeping for so long. Oh yeah, this is the NQ bounce. We had another confluence on NQ. Because you've seen it now, might as well just go over it. But this is the current range on NQ. So you got the range high, the range low, and we bounced this morning from exact 50% as well as the point of control. This is a deviation. I was kind of looking at this yesterday, and you know that if we accept below that 50, you know, you need to look below. And when you put the candles on, you can see that's exactly where we bounce from, just there. So this is that same fib that we're using on BTC, okay, just drawn at a different level. But yeah, there you go. That's NQ right now. Let's see if we can get them down to the 90s. That would be nice, a little bit more, and then go and clean the highs again. So that could be a nice trade. And we've got one time framing, one time framing, one time framing. This is just a swing failure. But yeah, ETH, very quickly. ETH is a sleeping giant. Finally woke up after it managed to claim the 200 SMA here. So ETH took forever to do this, but this was the first day here, because not close, not close, not close, not close, try deviation back below. Here was the first day in like forever that it closed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 break 200 SMA. This here was the first time, and I talked about this when we were, I think it was still on this day. No, it should have been a Monday. Yeah, Monday updates. There you go, the 7th. That's when I did it, because I remember going this over an update. Should have been the Monday. So yeah, now you kind of have to look for the next highs. The next highs are at 4,000. So, you know, ETH should truly go there, because when you compare ETH to BTC, I mean, ETH is still, I would say in terms of BTC, ETH is still here. Actually, ETH is still here when you compare it to BTC. So it's honestly asleep. In fact, when you go back, ETH has been nothing but just, you know, the fair value is the midpoint of the whole range. From low to high, we're at the midpoint. So, you know, we're just about to leave it. So yeah, the next level is 4,000. We are still, look at this. Oops, I was on the wrong screen there. But there you go. So this is ETH. That's what I was showing. So basically the low, the high, and I'm going to have to cover this very quickly because it was very, very important. So I'm going to delete all of this, and I'm just going to cover again. So 24 hours. This is what I was going through. So apologies for that. Yes, screen. There you go. So I'm going to show you here. So, so no, look above, but fail back below, as you can see there. And then here. So this is the day. So you've got 1 close, 2 actually. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So you've got 7 closes there above that 200 simple moving average. Okay. And, you know, this is very respectful, you know, the 200. And this was when I was doing the update on that Monday. So, and I was saying, right, this for the first time in like forever, that's when ETH is reclaiming. So we should now push through this, and it is pushing. So we need to look for the next high, which sits around 4,000. And then what I was saying after that is that ETH has been sleeping for so long in relation to, let's say, for example, BTC. For example, if you look at BTC, ETH is like down here still. You know, we haven't even taken the highs. You go back to ETH, and you can see, like, you just zoom back. So between the high and the low, you know, this is kind of like the 50%, the fair value, 2,000, call it $2,000. And we are still not even taking the next series of highs. So ETH is just a no good sort of like, it's an investment. Like, so you say you're invested on this, you keep looking at your portfolio, it's going nowhere. Whereby BTC, here we are. We've made one high since, if, and we're actually moving really well. Like we've made a new high, we've retested it, we've made another one, we've retested here, and we're making a new one there. So ETH is really, really sleeping. So I would say ETH next target, it has to be 4,100. If it rejects here again, I'm just going to say, yeah, another 6 months of sideways. Needs to hold this high here around 2,800 and then back up there. Can happen because that's what it's been doing. It's been doing this forever. Yeah, incredibly slow. But yeah, apologies for that. We are now, I was in this chart. So I was looking at this. We don't want to see it close below there. We want to see it hold all of this. So if we can start getting a close above it, I might attempt a long here now. We're getting what we saw, but yeah, sorry about the screen. But yeah, you got the whole shebang explained. Let me see if we can get, I want to see, so we've got one close, two close. So this is, nicer. That's the low that we're trying to reclaim. I'm looking at, ideally, we would want to see it close back above that previous day low. That would be the best because currently we are still retesting this trend line. That's still resistance. So making lower lows, lower highs, lower lows. We could potentially reject here to make another lower low. So we want to see it claim that. And then we can say, okay, well, now we want to take this up to the range highs just above those three. Okay, so that was ETH. And I'm going to continue with the questions very quickly because I said, and then I'll keep an eye on that chart there. And let me just bring OBS. I'm actually going to put it on that screen so I don't. There you go. I'll keep it there so I can see everything. Yeah, apologies for that. Please, 50 gift card. What? So let me just go back and read the questions. Wow, there's quite a few. Okay, yeah. The difference between 24 hours and 1 day. The difference between 24 hours is 1 day is RTH. If you look at 1 day, the daily candle, you can't use RTH. You need to look below that, like a 4 hour, 6 hour. But if you use the 24 hours, then it will split the range for you and will use the RTH true values. And this was confirmed by TradingView. I reached out to them and I asked them because I got really frustrated because one thing, like you can see on this chart here, I have both sessions delineated. So this is regular trading hours and this is the overnight trading hours. And on TradingView, for you to have this, if you're using daily, you're not going to see that. And if when you select RTH, but if you're using the 24 hours, it will show you both, but split. Okay. And that's what I did. I reached out to the source and they told me exactly what to do. So I hope that helps. And there you go. We are trying to reclaim this. Okay. So that's the difference. Okay, just important questions. Please smash the likes. There's 400 people and only a few likes. Need more likes. Can you explain the MA again? The MA is simply the 200 moving average. It's the most well-respected ever moving average on any stock, any anything really. I mean, let's, even Robinhood, I was buying this down here. I was, because of, like the extra confluence. And yeah, it's been a very, very good investment, that one on Robinhood, because I missed the accumulation, but I did not miss on Coinbase. Coinbase was really good. You had the accumulation, range expansion. And yesterday, I think I've deleted the alert, but yesterday, finally, we hit that 400 mark yesterday. Look at that, boom. And then we had a nice pullback. So that was it. So the 200 simple moving average is nothing but just, the good old moving average, simple. Where would be your local invalidation when you take out the long? For BTC, it's quite simple. Like, oh, there you go. So we are still pushing. This is good news. This is good news because what we want to do then later is, this is the nice level, okay, that we are reaching, but you can see that the best level will be the gap low. So you want to see RTH open. Let's say we open above at our first kind of like resistance, 119,485 here. It's going to get there. then we want to see the protraction, like the move back. We want to see the open and move back inside this range. And then when you zoom out on this chart, so this is very much like looking at, actually, I'll do it here. So you see, this is so important, honestly, so important. And we'd had this the other day, actually, and it happened to the T. And I don't know how many people caught up to it, but I'm sure someone did. So I'm going to hide overnight. Boom, overnight is hidden. I'm actually going to hide the candles as well, and I'm going to hide VWAP. Okay, so I'm going to hide all of these and these so that it's clean. So this is RTH. Okay, so this is RTH trading. I'm going to make sure I'm on the right screen. Yes. So currently you have a gap there, and this is where the high is. So if you open, let's say, anywhere within value of this day here, then you have to look for this here. That's what the CME traders will be doing. They're going to do the following. They're going to open, they're going to push this down to there or near it, and then they're going to want to go higher. Okay, let's say we do another all-time high, and then you have like a profile or a daily candle that looks like this. Okay, I hope this makes sense. So this is the body, and this is the open. So open, low, this is the high, and this is the close. Okay, so this is a daily candle. God, I hope this makes sense, because it happens all the time. So for example, here you open, you got the gap, you come all the way down, but you don't quite feel it. So it's like unfinished business. You have to be aware of this, because then it gives you that, okay, we will probably trade through that at some point. Well, you traded on the next day, but you never feel it. So this is still unfinished. So when you're trading down here, you have to be aware, okay, well, above price, there's still a gap unfinished, and the overall higher time frame is still bullish. So we have to be aware of that. And this happens so many times, like you open, you go down, you feel, yeah, anyway, I'll let you do that on your own time, but it's very, very technical, especially on the CME when you split the range between the two. And for that, you need to use this regular trading hours down here, okay, and be on a 24 hours. And that's when it's going to show. But yeah, let me just go back to there. Let me go back to 30. And let me put this back to how it was. I hope that makes sense. The FIB settings are simply the 1, the 25%, 75%, and obviously 50%. No, I'm not seeing the same scenario now like we had before. Yeah, that's a very good question, and I'm just going to quickly cover it. So I don't think many people were looking at this the way I did, and it's very similar. So, you know, this is wind back a few days where we had that bearish abundant baby. Look, we had the gap. If you'll remember, we open, but look, we opened in RTH inside the range and we went there. So we're not seeing that today. Very similar. So when you go to today, it is similar, but we want to see the open all the way down here. We want to see the open below the range, and we don't have that. We actually will have the open somewhere up here, which is good. So you want to see that fill and go. If, however, you open the RTH later, let's say at the point of control, and completely reject, and then like start getting acceptance in here, then yes, then I'll be worried, and I'll be like, right, we had the bearish abandoned baby, check. We had the higher time fib, or, you know, split range target, check, at 75. And then we've looked inside, filled the gap, check. So you can see a lot of checks here. Okay, accept back inside that range and close back inside this range. We can see the gap filled down here, and that is a trade. So this will be a trade that will look something like this, where you try to then get back inside and sync with that lower time frame and then push it down to 114. However, it can get really exponentially if all of those late long trades, especially the ones up here, they have to stop those trades. So let's say we have a chunk of longs up here, they will be obviously stop loss, you know, that's a market sell, and it can go through those singles very quickly. Okay, so that's something to be aware. That's a very good question, because that's the old bearish bearish abandoned baby that we had. So it's this pattern here. Okay, good question, I like it. And there you go, you can see what's happening here. So it's still not ready, so I'm glad we're not taking that long yet. I want to see a little bit more confirmation here, because if we take the long, the target is the full session open. Okay, perfecto. Yeah, I like that question, ADCC. Daniel Didn't Daniel say 114 to 113 first? Let me see. Yeah, so that would be the cap fill. But I feel, okay, if we do drop to 114.13, like I was saying now, I feel like all of the late longs might squeeze price down a little bit further, and then everybody's going to panic. Everybody will panic, and that could be another good opportunity, especially if we come close to the 20 maybe. Yeah, there you go. The 20's at 109, so it could smash through that. And this is it. Like, those late longs will have to market sell to cover their positions. Anyone uses Super Guppy? No, I've heard of it. The trend one. You should listen carefully to what crazy. Severin and Igor joining the team leadership with CC. Ah, nice. Thank you for the comment. Yeah, Severin is a legend. I love him. And now I'm gonna get to see you soon. So yeah, if you're there, mate, yeah, see you soon. Electronic, yes, that's it. No, okay, perfect, thanks. Igor, could you share your chart again, including the TPO settings? Thanks. Okay, yeah, I'll share this chart. I can share it now. You know what? Because I'm in a good mood, what I'm going to do, I'm going to just copy this link. I'm going to share it, copy, and I'm going to paste it on. I can't post it now on this chat. I will post it later. I will post this sharing link later. Okay. And then you can just use the same settings. Increase the volume too low. Can't be. That's clipping. It's your end. Yes, I have a problem with the 80%. I hear you, mate. Oh, okay. I'll just turn up a little bit. Should be okay. These price levels on CME BTC1 chart is higher than Bybit. Yeah, of course. TD, it's always going to be slightly different. That's why I trust the CME and I only chart and trade the CME now. You can trade the CME on different brokers. Igor, do you share the logarithmic chart? Nope, I've never ever used logarithmic. I can't even say the word. Hello there. Hello, shorting 119k. It's not a bad short. It is not a bad short based on this close. It is not a bad short. You know, we closed bearish and we gapped down. That is not a bad short at all. But we must be aware of the context here. If I would prefer to actually see the confirmation, like look above and come back down and later not hold this and close below. If so, then yes, I will shift beers locally, not higher time frame, locally. Okay, I hope that clears out. And again, not financial advice. What video are you watching on the iPad? It's not an iPad. This is my trading terminal. So I have 1, 2, 3 screens here, like on the lower bit, and that's Bloomberg terminal, and then I've got Financial Juice, and I've got Discord, you know, other trading terminal, and I have another version of Quantower that I use for a different account where I trade BTC. I can't see. Yes, okay, we did that. Oh gosh, I still have to go catch up. Question, bought me a long time. I noticed a lot of times that the CVD on Bybit shoots different way. The CVD CME opposite. Yeah, the CME, right. So one good way to look at this is use the micros on the CME and then use also the CME pair. So you know, okay, so if you see any discrepancies between the CVD on both, this is probably better to keep for the champion. So yeah, I wouldn't make any more comments on that. But yeah, on Bybit, you're going to have like difference. Let me just see. We might be getting that long trade here on NQ. Based on risk, at least we've got good risk to reward here. Let's see if we can get a little shift. Let me just share the screen. We kind of like finished with BTC anyway. Let me see. I want to see at least this close back above it and potentially retest. And then we can use this as our stop, and that will be around $100 stop. And then we can see if we can push through. Just looking at, because we've rejected the VWAP here, so that's very technical. And on ES, we still have a little bit more room to drop down to the previous day high retest. So we could, yeah, there you go. We are piercing through that. So I might attempt a quick long little scalp here. And you probably have time because this is the lag is not a lot. But again, not financial advice. And I like this region. So, you know, you're making lower lows, lower highs. This is the midpoint. You bounce VWAP, and then you're holding now. So we want to see a meaningful, you've looked at the lows as well. This is the range you can see. So we're kind of holding that, but it's still downtrending. So it's kind of like an aggressive long where you want to see a swing high being confirmed. But with NQ, a swing high will take you all the way there, and that's already, you know, $300, nearly $250. So now let's see if we can get the long here. So we have, it looks okay, but I have a feeling that we might still drop a little bit on ES. So I'm going to be a little bit more I'll keep an eye. I'll keep it on the screen while I go through the questions. The open high low close indicator, that's just a trading view indicator. It should work. You can also use one called key levels by Leviton or something. It's on trading view. It's free. You can use it. Can I ask what is RTH? Regular trading hours. Thanks. Yeah, that's it. Looking for, nice. It's Severin is here. Hello, my friend. That's good. Yeah, because you probably have a stream. Oh no. Okay. Yeah, we have a stream later. Yeah, actually, we have a stream later. The display that shows us different tickers next to you. Tickers. I'm not sure what you're saying. The display. I've only got a few displays here, so I've got this up here, which is one terminal. Let me go back. Yeah, I've got this terminal here. Oops, that's a thingy there. So actually, there's nothing important there. So I've got this terminal here. I've got obviously trading view with all the Max 7, everything. And obviously this one is a chart just to keep an eye on everything else. The economic calendar. So that's that chart there. Then I have this one, which is my trading term. And there you go. Good decision not to take the long yet. It's still not ready. This is the DOM. So this is just the level 2. And then obviously I have the DSF, which is this one here with, you know, ES and NQ. And you can see this is what I was saying about ES not being quite ready. Here on the right, we've had that nice move. On NQ, we have hit the view app and we've come back below, but there's not really meaningful orders waiting here. So when you see that, it just adds to that confluence that the market is not quite ready to push. And you can see at the time we're coming down to here. So it's like, just wait a little bit, or wait for the market to tell you, okay, now we're going from making lower lows to higher highs. And I marked this high here. So let's see if we get any meaningful buying down here that flips at least one swing high. And now we can actually push this down, and it's going to be this one here. So it's getting closer because ES is still nowhere near that resistance from earlier here that then becomes support. So that's what I'm looking for. So it's nice using both charts as confluence. So that's ES on the right, NQ on the left. We've just looked below. There's the liquidity being worked. So yeah, just still patiently waiting. Okay. And I was going to actually do this stream today a little bit later, but then I remember that I'm doing a stream with Severin, so I can't do it later. Because I usually do London, but today I was going to do it New York, but I can't because we'll be trading just before. Morning, thanks for the stream. I have a personal question, if you don't mind. How much time of your trading journey, you are unprofitable versus profitable? That is a question, okay, that it's going to be very, very different. Like, you get out of this game what you put in. It depends on cycles. It depends on how the market is behaving. Honestly, like, for example, now we have Trump. Everything that happens with a tweet, with tariffs, is different. The market is going to affect different. So if you have a system that works and it's got, like, say, a 50% win rate, when you have these type of events or like uncertainty, those statistics will be thrown out of the window, because some days you're going to be like looking for that setup and it's not going to play because simply there's been a massive thing that happened, especially the tariffs has been the headlines, or, you know, some conflict, and then the charts, you know, the market is not behaving the same. So, you know, when you talk about like when did you get in? You know, was it around the time like this? Was it a bull market? Because a bull market, you're going to be used to just kind of like going, okay, well, this is easy, you just buy the pullbacks. Or was it a bear market? Was it a market that is just consolidating? So you need to be really good at range trading. So, you know, it's hard to say like, you're going to be 3 months or 6 months, because it depends on where a cycle is on the market. You know, what is your you know, input, like how many hours you're putting in, how many patterns have you seen, how many statistics have you built? You know, was it 100 trades, was it 200 trades, meaning 200 samples of that same trade, and then you've got an outcome of like, let's say 65%, you know, win rate on that pattern. So it's very hard to just answer questions like this, because it's very, very personal, and it's very, very individually to a person. Yeah, don't focus on what other people are doing. Just focus on yourself. Like whatever you do is, you know, your plan, you're going forward. So, you know, one thing I can say is just put a lot of hard work and watching price action, lots of it. I think that's the best way to look at this. When Severin are doing an alt tube, I'm not sure, maybe next Wednesday, I think. Yeah, key levels by dividend. Yes, it is. Yeah, there you go. There is that's it. Thanks, Banks. And that is it for the questions. Yeah, I mean, I wanted to take another trade here. So what about ES? I feel like we can still get another rotation higher. I feel like it can get another push higher. But the best trade here this morning will be on NQ. So let's try and see another few confluences here. And in the meantime, see if you have any more questions. So I'm just going to see where the point of control of this range is. Let me go back. Oh no, that's because it's, let me just go and change this to full day. Okay. And now let's, okay, we are at that nice point of control. I'm gonna go back, I'm gonna delete this. So we are at key support here. We kind of knew that anyway. I'm gonna go back to RTH only. Okay. And then I feel like we might have a long cooking here. The low is still very much a little bit poor. So let's mark the low and let's mark the first higher swing high. So you've got lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, and this is the next lower high here. So once we get above that, we can then go with the pullbacks, but we're still breaking lows. But I don't want to short down here, because from this low to this high, this is the 75%, which is what I use for like a gauge on risk to reward, as you can see there. So we are at a beautiful risk to reward. So if we can close this candle bullish back above, I already could take a long trade and just use this as my stop. I could get stopped out, but then I will look for at least the midpoint of that previous day high and beyond. So let's see. It's already starting to happen. So we can delete this now and we can track this. I think I'm on the right chart. So 76 is the highest liquidity here. So 76, which would be nice to run down there first. In other words, drop. There you go. We've dropped a little bit. We've got quite a nice buy coming in here. Let's see if we can get this trade set up here. So we're basically just boxing in this trade. So we're going from higher high, from this high, we have the swing low that just broke. So this becomes a new low. It's not confirmed yet. We need another 2 candles here to the right of it. But we know that the biggest liquidity is sitting in at 76. I'm going to put 76.50, but it's actually 76. There you go. So down here. So this becomes a level where there's quite a big old order sitting there. Let's put this solid. So let's just wait a little bit. Oh, the one on the shelf. That is a stocks. It's a ticker thing. And then I've got my bull. This is a bull. Don't know which camera it is, but yeah, this is a bull. Obviously, we're like trading. But yeah, that is a ticker that shows SPY, the ETFs, the time. Shows a lot of stuff. Yeah, it's a ticker, a live ticker. And then above it, up there, I have my beast, which is a 1080 Ti. And for those of you who are here back in the days of Bitcoin mining, that one did mine a few Bitcoins back in the days. Yeah, so that's kind of nice to have it. Do you have any position on BTC? Yes, from much lower. Call it like an investing position. And then I use the CME to day trade. So no, not waiting. I mean, there's a stream that I did a long time ago, and we were trading around 26k, and I was waiting for the 200 SMA. Hey, can you see this? This is becoming better, but it's not confirmed yet. But yeah, so from much lower. So call it investing. Okay, it's more of an investing position. And then on the CME, every day I come here and I do my plan. And I basically mark all my levels. And let me just open this up here. Let's go with the electronic as well. And I'll do exactly what I did with you guys here. And I will look for the day trades every single day. So this is not showing the bars, but if I just put a line, you can see where price is. So we've looked above. We kind of like rolling. So we've got all of this planned out today. So let's see, will it be the first level or the second level? So just waiting, and now you wait, and then we can take this on the futures. It's all about the paying the bills. You are very welcome. In fact, I did share all of the averages in even 4 months ago, back in March, April, when we did the all-time lows. Well, not all-time lows, sorry, the nice pullback. Okay, so this is starting to look a little bit better. ES is still not quite hit the level there. I'll stay on for another 20 minutes, see if we can catch this trade here on NQ and see the expansion back above it, because we are still rejecting here. So this is, potentially for someone who's not, who's flat, not taking any trades today. This is that nice level where, it's the resistance coming in. Do you have a copy trading account? No, I do not. Do you have any altcoins in your portfolio? Yes, I have Solana, I have Sui, and a few others. But yes, Solana, obviously it's one that you kind of have to, well, not have to, but it's part of the, actually, sorry, I'm going to do this on that screen. Need to zoom back down. Yeah, Solana, it's one that it's still sleeping, and Solana is ETH 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago. So Solana is trying, okay, to break above, and I think, okay, so 24 hours. I think today will perhaps be, and look, you are here on the stream and this is public. Today will probably be the first day, or kind of the second, because yesterday, I looked at this, that we will close above the 200. Look at this. So, trying all the way below. And then now we've got the same as Ethereum. This reminds me just as Ethereum, but obviously Ethereum already broke. Look here. So this reminds me of this section here. So look, okay, we're doing the same thing. So this is the first day that we are potentially, let me zoom in and clean this. This is the first day that potentially we are closing above. So look at the closes. So yesterday we actually closed and we opened above. So I think today we want to see this close much higher. So the close above it, because below, above. So hopefully we can see this close above and then start to, get traction. Just break above this and go. And I'm going to show you this with the candles so that you can see. But yeah, Solana is one that I was saying when we were down here that it kind of needs to hold these lows. So you've got 1 peak, 2 peaks, 3 peaks. Like this looks really good. You break out, break the highs, sign of strength. So this is a sign of strength. And you want to see the pullback hold. You don't want it to go too deep. So between the low and the high, you want this to now really hold and start to obviously going up to 190 and potentially just run higher. I mean, you know, like we've made a higher high here. So this is a nice place to now start doing this long term. That is, start doing something like so, where the 200 now starts to go back up like it does here. And then we've got a nice trend here where price potentially could go up to $340, $500 would be nice. And then SUI is looking a little bit better here, where we bounced from a similar situation here. And you can see there we've claimed that 200. And 200 is nice to just keep an eye on the market. You know, it's very well respected. You look above, you know, still flat. Look below, you hold. This is the pullback. You want to see it go up to, you know, $4.50. So that's kind of like the next target on SUI. And SUI, if you were here, obviously with us, you know, we've been in this for, you know, some time now. So yeah, this has got potential. This is like the new Solana, really, to be honest. So yeah, thanks for the question. Those are the two ones that if you're in the crypto space, that should be on your portfolio, not financial advice. ETH plan, if has broken out of that that range, I'd like to, I mean, look, we have a lot of overhead resistance here. You can see it. You know, all of this is going to be, you know, hard. 3,000, I would say 3,500. But basically, ETH is bullish now, as in like it has to be bullish now. It has to go, because if it doesn't, if ETH rejects again and breaks this trend line back inside this range, I'm going to say this is a poop coin. And we're going to go back down to the range lows. It needs to go now. So if you're in ETH, I would be like, okay, just let it do its thing. Actually, what you can do is just go on a weekly and see where the there you go, you're above it there. Perfect, there you go. So just let it do its thing. Just target is 4,200. Just let it just cook. Let it cook. Stop down there, 1,400. Obviously for some people that's going to be a lot, but you know, let it cook. Just let it cook. You're moving up still. Yes, we've spent 4 years here, you know, since 2021. But finally, you know, you look below, you have to go. It has to go now. If it doesn't, then it's like, well, okay, back to fair value. Where's fair value? 2,200. So yeah, that's ETH plan. There's not really another plan on that. Oh my God, was I on the wrong screen? Yes, I was. Oh, Jesus, I'm going to keep on that one for now. Basically, that's what I was looking at there. So this. So keep this now as your plan. Done it. Can you turn the mic up? No, it's fine. The mic is fine. Okay. How do you see BTC long term? Long term, 138. Too many screens. No, it's just you know, I wasn't looking at OBS, so I couldn't quite see which screen was being shared. 22k ETH, nice. No, not 22k. I think it's, I mean, I do have a 10k target for ETH. It's the same, but look, I mean, actually we can do it together. Look at this. Let's do, I'm going to put it right on the high, and I'm going to use the CME for this. Oh, I can't. I can. I think I can. Yes, we can. Let's do the CME. So we're going to go from the high down to 0. Boom. It's 10k. It's 10k. And you can see, like, I mean, if I just go to, let's go 20. If, I mean, look, BTC, right? Mind you, BTC is already there. Just, okay, put this into perspective, and look at that. You know, come baby, come to our pocket. But yeah, look at this. BTC is currently rejecting from here. Sorry, here. This is where BTC is. Okay, Sorry, let me just do this properly so that you really understand. So this is where BTC is rejecting currently. 0. Okay, so here's BTC. Look at the difference. BTC, if. That's it. So this is 0. This is the all-time high before. This is where we bounced from. So technically, we want to see Ethereum. I mean, I said 10K when I shared BTC back when we were a long time ago. And if Eric is here, he would back me up on this. But a long time ago, I said BTC to 138. I actually said 137 to be conservative. Because that's, you know, what the target is because of this confluence. Yeah, ETH is sleeping. So yeah, the next target has to be 4,100 and then 5K, which is between. So there you go. There's your ETH plan. Keep it simple. This is simple. Like everyone should be able to do this, and then you have to trust it. And tell you what, let me see if there's a champion in the house today. Champions in the house. Type in a chat. Okay, this is quite interesting. Type in a chat. What do I say about these like higher time frame setups? Like for example, BTC. What do I usually say about these higher time frame setups that I want you to kind of like see these setups as a what? See it as a what? Like I know it's high time frame, which takes a long time to come to fruition, but what do I see it as? See it as a? Because it helps you stay in that trade a lot longer. To buyers, repetition. And I got a message here. A 5-minute chart. Chicolette. Look at that. See, the champions know. So basically, just treat this high time frame chart as if it was a 5-minute chart and just sleep like a baby. Yeah, risk management, obviously, above all. But yeah, just treat it as a 5-minute chart. Beautiful to see. Okay, we have nice champion members. It's honestly really that simple. Yeah, it honestly really is. And then yeah, I mean, BTC has gone from being the day trading asset to a more of an investing asset, really. I mean, we kind of knew this all along, with all the respect we were getting from these kind of like very significant pivots. I mean, look at it. It's just so beautiful to see a market that has done this consistently for some time. I mean, we can actually hide everything else and just keep this plotted. This is Coinbase, by the way. No, sorry, this is CME. You know, with a great degree of not certainty, but you know, the odds, you know, let's call it odds. There's high odds when you zoom in, and this is when I was really looking at this thinking, well, this can't be true. Like, this is just too technical, too good. And watch this. When I flick this to a line chart, just, you know, key in on this section here. And it's not as clean as an order flow software, a proper order flow software, but just keep your eyes there for a second. Just keep watching this section here. This is BTC, CME, and that is just simply what the name says, not the EMA, not all of this nonsense, a simple 200 moving average. Okay, that is all it is. You know, it's what investors look at, you know, going back years. So, you know, let's keep it simple. And now let me show you the line chart, which again, it's what the institutionals like look at, which is the close. Where was the open? Where was the high? Where was the low? Not the RSI, not the MACD. Where was the average for the past 200 days? What was it? What was the figure? What was the number? And what was the close? And then you get a line chart. And on a proper order flow software, this line here is actually kissing like that low there on both occasions with the first deviation. So you basically look below on the daily chart. Perhaps if I do daily, will be slightly different. Let me just see. Let me just zoom back in again there. Do I have this on charts or do I have this? Let me just check this. Precision inputs daily. Let me just put this daily. Could be that day. No, it doesn't matter, but you can see the respect. It's probably best to do it this. Yeah, it doesn't matter. But yeah, this is the respect that we got. So for me, it's very much like, you know, you can't ignore these two big things on this market. And then it's just the consistency of, you know, pretty much getting this all the time. So let me just go back to how it was at beginning. So chart and then 24. Okay, so this is the respect. Okay, so this is where, and this is why sometimes you do have to adjust things on TradingView, because if you don't adjust it properly, you don't get what we get here. So you can now see how the respect becomes, but it's not just this time. It's comparing this with the ETF on the, you know, on BTC, and it's just the respect of the pullback, like waiting too early, like here, the first initial move, too early. Oops, too early. Still not a touch, and then it goes through. But look at the closes again. Look, boom, that's the closes. Massive deviation. Look at the closes back above, and again and again and again. Here again, that 75k, 75 to 70. I wanted 71, but 75k was the low. Look at that, beautiful. Again, where 200. It's just always the same thing. Like, it's just so simple. So keep it simple. There's no sellers. Every time we do have a sell-off, you know, taking profits, we are find again more support. BTC is perhaps the best asset class period ever, because, you know, it's, you know, it's just, you know, it's just got one direction, going back to inception. So it's amazing. So anyway, it's we are getting the move out of here. So okay, let's see. We didn't get the 76. We actually got the higher low than there at 81. I was distracted. I didn't see that. But anyway, let me just 5-minute chart. Perfect. BTC going to bull run. Bull run is still ongoing. So ETH 5K, even 10K compared to BTC. I don't know if we're going to get to 10K, to be honest. I trust more Solana and Sui than ETH at the moment, but that's the trajectory. If, you know, if investors, if, you know, it's still a good technology, yeah, that's the trajectory. And that's it. So yeah, smash the likes. I mean, I'm gonna wrap it up here. I kind of did miss this. I was expecting, not expecting, but I would have liked to see on the NQ a little move below into that big pocket, but we've come back up to the previous day low. I mean, if we can get a little pullback, let me just see. We might have to go with higher highs, so we can just start changing this now. Yeah, that was a nice pullback. I was distracted covering BTC. Yeah, I can't trade here. I mean, we could go with a long. Let me just see on. Yeah, we've got VWAP. You can see VWAP just there. We'd have to go all the way down to, we've got the point of control sitting in at 88. Yeah, where I have my, basically what I've marked this beginning. This is too high because our stop would have to be down there, $70. We could try, we could attempt it. It has shown a sign that it wants to go. I just don't know. I have this feeling that this will be filled down here, and that would be the best long, because then we can look for the total range, and here it's like a midpoint. So if you split this range between this high and that low, we kind of like previous day low 50%. It's not the best trade location. You almost need to wait for a proper reclaim, but I can see the market is trying to push through that view up once more, but there's no guarantees. You are very welcome there, BVLCK. M8, when using the 200 MA for investing in stocks, at what point are you confident in a reclaim? You want to see good, you want to see good closes above it, but you want to use it in confluence with other things, okay? And context is so important. Like, depending on how those candles are closing and opening, you know, the shift, the momentum, there's a lot of stuff that comes with time, and you will start to see it. So my answer for that is watch on a 5-minute chart and plot the 200, and then see how that kind of like works around, and then just kind of like then zoom out to the daily when you're ready, because it can take some time to really understand the flow. Like, for example, this chart here, we can pop the 200 and you're going to have, you know, nice respect. So, you know, just treat this as a really high time frame chart. So even though we're on 1 minute, and then just watch that reaction. What's the context here? Yeah, while you're above, it's starting to become bullish. But we kind of knew this because, you know, we've run up. This is the area of like left support, but I just wanted to see one last dive down to clean all the bigger orders and then to come back inside. But instead, price held a higher low here. So now it's like higher highs and higher lows. So kind of like we need to drop a little bit. Well, there you go, back to that 200 to give us a nice risk to reward trade. Because up here, if you buy here and it drop, you're getting a bit of drawdown, which is unnecessary. So might as well wait for the next bus, the next trade. So yeah, that's what I would do. That's what I recommend you do that. And yeah, I'm going to wrap it up. I've got another stream in about an hour's time for the members. We're going to be doing a investing and diversification streams. That one was well received. We started doing that not long ago. We also have an event coming up in Porto. We are going to get together for the 6th year running now. And that's in Porto. So yeah, for the champion members, I'll see you there. The ones that are obviously coming with us. It's going to be a nice 3-4 day event for the members. So yeah, looking forward to that. We've got the schedule. It's going to be live trading. Yeah, pardon me. A lot of stuff going on. But yeah, for the champions, see you in a chat a little bit later. And yeah, I hope today has been a very kind of like more of a learning lesson. We did the plan on BTC. Let's wait for those levels now. Let's just have one last view to see exactly where we're sitting with BTC. Let me just push this back. We'll go back up to BTC, and I'm going to put this on the candles, and we're going to just wait 2 seconds. Yeah, we are now at the gap fill, as you can see. So we have continued to push. There you go. There's that gap fill. This is really good. We wanted to see this. That means this is our first resistance already tapped here. Okay, so now we want to see price kind of like stay here. We want to see price now stay here for the next 3 hours, okay, until the open. And then at the open, we want to see price come back in to fill this. If it actually leaves it open and comes back and starts to go back above its open, so let's say whatever open RTH is today, as soon as we start trading above it, depending on what up and down here, that is nice. If, however, we reject the point of control, if we keep lingering here and reject the point of control, that could be a different story. So I would prefer price to just stay here stuck between 19 to 19,700. I want it to stay stuck in here. Say stay stuck until the open, pull back, and then go back above it. That would be my preferred scenario there. Okay, and you can see it. It's a nice kind of like plan. Excuse the scribbles, but that would be nice. So yeah, this is going to be now my first support, 900. So we can actually move this now to 500, and then this one 900. So we've just kind of like swapped them around slightly. Oops, there you go. So I'm going to be looking at that, and we are gonna, did I mark an alert? Nope, we're going to do that now. And that's it. So thank you very much. I will be obviously trading later again. And yeah, look forward to be on the stream with Severin. Thank you very much for everybody being here today. See you on the next one. Thank you and goodbye.